Team, one of the hardest transitions I had to make in my career, and you're likely going to experience it as well, is going from individual contributor or IC to first time manager. Why? Because the skills you need to be a great IC, deliver results, interacting with people, getting exposure, getting all the credit to get promoted is different from being a manager where now you're working with and through people. You got to use different skills to be successful. Don't worry, I got you. What's good, team? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, I am Coach Roundtree. On this channel, I post interview tips and career advice to help you elevate your game. This video is all about transitioning from individual contributor to first-time manager and the skills and techniques you should use to really be effective in your role. So enjoy the video and make sure you do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up. If it adds value, share it with your family and friends, and make sure you subscribe to be the first to know when I drop new content. Here are 4 tips to be successful as a first-time manager. Tip number 1 is to recognize the game has changed. Everything you did to be a great IC, deliver results, getting the exposure, interacting with others, getting all the credit, that's different now that you're a first-time manager because you're working with and through people. And how you measure your success is different. So I want to tell you a real story. Earlier in my career, one of my coworkers, he was on the fast track. He went from specialist to senior specialist. He went to manager all within an 18-month period of time. No one else had advanced as fast as this dude did. But then once he got to manager, I started to really see for the first time him have performance issues. His team did not enjoy working with him because he was still doing the same thing that got him promoted so fast, delivering results, wanted to get down in the weeds, wanted to make sure he got some credit as a manager. And his team could not stand working with him, did not enjoy his leadership style. To the point where when it got really, really bad, and one of his team members was a close friend of mine, she ended up telling him, listen, we know how to do our jobs, but you're so overbearing, the team morale is not there. We don't feel confident and we don't feel comfortable working with you. And he literally had to sit down with his direct reports and say, hey, I'm a new manager. Maybe I got promoted too fast. Help me become a better manager. What do you need from me? When I saw that unfold, it quickly became one of those experiences in my career where I was like, okay, I can really learn something from this. So if you're watching this as a first-time manager, please recognize what you did to get promoted from an individual contributor to a manager. That's one chapter of your career. You have to transition over to management, and it's a different mindset to be successful as a manager. Tip number 2 is to connect with your team. As a first-time manager, your first decision should be to humble yourself and not lead with your title, but lead with your heart and say, you know what? The people I'm managing, they've been in this game longer than me. They probably know more than I know. I'm going to focus on getting to know them and connecting with them. Now, pro tip, during your first team meeting, instead of talking about the work and deliverables, I'd put those cards down and say, you know what, team, I'm honored to be your new manager. And I recognize you know more about the customer, the processes than I do. So I want to focus first on us building a relationship. Let me tell you a little bit about me and what makes me tick and how I got here. And tell them your whole journey. And then ask each of your team members, hey, take about 2 minutes. Let me know where you're from. What are some of the things you're most proud of in life, in your career? And how do you like to be managed? And shut up. Take notes. Get all that information from your team members so that you can understand, okay, I have some sharp people. I don't have to be in the weeds. That's the thing. When you're a first-time manager, you assume you have to be in the weeds because you haven't developed that confidence, that security to know that my team got this. They can do the job. But when you have this open forum to start your leadership tenure, then it allows you to say, you know what? I don't have to be in the weeds. I can take a step back and make the transition from individual contributor to manager. Tip number 3 is to tailor your communication to the style of your employees. Let's say you have a team of 4 direct reports. Your first month in this new management role, during your one-on-one meetings, create a one-pager and go through this with your direct reports. Saying, hey, I want to know how you like to be communicated. Do you prefer email? Do you prefer FaceTime where we're talking together in the same room? Do you prefer a ping? Also, what are your expectations for me as your leader? And then the last part, you will say, here are my expectations of you as my direct report. But have this open dialogue so that you set expectations on how you're going to play together. You might have one direct report that says, hey, listen, I prefer for you to give me feedback via email. So you know whenever you're in a meeting with that direct report, you're not going to give them feedback in the meeting. They may be embarrassed, they may be caught off guard, but you might have other direct report who they want the public validation, they want the feedback, or they want the constructive criticism the moment it happens. So you have to adjust your style for that direct report. Then you may have one that during the meeting, they want to get pings to have their confidence build during the meeting. Like, hey, Marcus, I really think you did well. That was a good point. They want the real-time feedback as they're in the meeting. Team, you have to get this information by having those conversations with your team up front so that you have your game plan. I'm going to manage each of my players based on their preferred style, and that's how you be successful as a new manager. And tip number 4 is establish your team culture. When you become a new manager, you have to think back to all the experiences you had as an individual contributor. What were some of the great managers you had? What was her style? What were some of the things you learned from him? And take little pieces of that and then say, all right, what do I want my team to be known for? What's the vibe, the energy that I want my team to have? And I would jot down 3 to 5 things that are very important for you as a first-time manager and start to cultivate that team culture. And then ask your direct reports like, hey, we're going to spend a lot of time together. How do you want our team culture to be formed? And have those conversations. Because here's the thing. Team culture is the most important thing you can establish as a new manager. And the thing about your team culture, it could be different from the overall department or company team culture. It could be something so special that sets you apart. And what I found in my career, specifically recently, is that when your team has a great culture, it allows you to accomplish things that no one thought would be possible. You can move at a pace that other teams are sitting back like, yo, how are they doing that? And the awesome thing about team culture, when it's truly established and it's great, it travels. Recently, I was assigned a product lead for a very important product in my current role. And so last year, I traveled to Portugal, Romania. We went to Spain and across the U.S. to do some product discovery. And the thing that really struck me is that when we got on that flight and flew literally across the world, our culture was still the same. We still laughed, we still joked, we still had this camaraderie in a country we didn't speak the language. To use a sports analogy, they always say championship teams have defense that travels. They can go on the road and get a win. They can get the split. They might lose the first game, but they're going to win the second game. And that's why your team culture is so important. Invest the time in the first 30, 60, 90 days to create your team culture. Collaborate with your direct reports because that's going to give you the highest return on your investment as a first-time manager. Team, I hope this was helpful. Congratulations, you are now a manager. I want to encourage you not to lead with your title. That's not how you should approach the game. Lead with your heart. Lead to serve your team. Communicate with them, understand their preferences, and make sure you tailor your style to each individual player. And then lastly, establish your team culture. That is going to be the highest ROI, the most important investment you can make in time up front to build a great team. Team, I hope this was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up. In the comments, let me know, yo, coach, just help me. Here's some ideas I have. I'm always checking my comments. I want to make sure you're successful and make sure you subscribe so you'll be the first to know when I drop new career tips. I'll see you next time.